excited. This is a digital series about QVC entrepreneurs, and I'm your host, Courtney Webb. This is our first live chat series of it, so if you are watching on Facebook, please ask us some questions because we have Miss Kim from Bloomeffects with us. She's a co-founder. How are you, Kim?
Hi, Courtney. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you, and especially because you're one of our newest brands at QVC, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we debuted only 4 weeks ago, and we're actually coming back on air to the Q tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome, with Sandra. That's fantastic. So thank you for joining us. We want to get a little bit more about your history, kind of before you launched the company, and then obviously a lot of the products that you already have on QVC.com. But I also will encourage anyone who's watching, if you want to ask Kim any questions about Bloomeffects or her background in the industry, we're happy to hear from you. So Kim, tell me a little bit about where you started. You started off in the beauty industry in New York, is that right?
I did. Well, I started off in skincare, actually in the pharmaceutical industry way back in Australia. You probably find that I've got an Australian accent and thinking, how did she end up in New York? So Australian, born and bred, and then moved over to New York for the kind of Sex in the City lifestyle and the career opportunities. I saw myself, kind of climbing up the corporate ladder and did that quite successfully and worked as a beauty executive in Manhattan. But I had that, again, Sex in the City moment where Charlotte says, where is he already? And I, the career was going up and up and up, but the personal life wasn't really happening. So I actually said to my boss, look, I'm taking 5 weeks off. I'm going to go to Europe and travel with my girlfriends. We just made budget for the year. I'd worked on brands like Saint-Tropez and Oscar Blondie and Butter London and, a bunch of other brands that have been on both HSN and QVC. And I went on this 5-week trip and met a guy on the dance floor. And the guy happened to be a Dutch tulip farmer, and now is my husband. And we have a lovely little baby girl named Eva, and she's 5 months old, and we live in the Netherlands. And I guess that kiss on the dance floor was really the start of Bloomeffects, but I didn't know it at the time. So we were long distance for a little, and then I packed up my studio apartment in Manhattan, quit my job, and said goodbye to the beauty life. I then moved to the Netherlands and really got inspired by the tulips. And if you've seen any of our drone footage or any of our brand story footage from our premiere last month, you'll know how beautiful the tulip fields are. It's just breathtaking. It's color as far as the eye can see, just rows and rows of color. And as I was literally frolicking through the fields, I said to Hein, what's in your tulips? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, it's a plant, it's a flower. We sell the bulbs. And I'm like, no, I'm a beauty executive. What's in the tulip? And he couldn't really answer me. And we asked his father, who has been in the industry for so many years in the agricultural industry. And he said, I don't know. And then we asked his grandfather, because they're actually a family business. Hein's a 4th generation tulip farmer, and they've been running their farm for 115 years, growing beautiful tulips, royal tulips, in fact. They actually service the royal family. And if you go to Buckingham Palace in tulip season, you'll see their tulips in their gardens. So I was like, we need to find out what's in a tulip. And we are so blessed that we got not 1, but 2 government grants to find out what's in a tulip. And what we found is that the tulip is one of the only flowers that continues to grow once being cut. So once it's cut from its mother plant, from the bulb, it will continue to grow. And Courtney, you probably experienced this, and you've got tulips there in the background. I see.
Yes, they do.
They'll tend to flop over in the vase as they're growing, and that's because the tulip stem is actually elongating and actually drawing up so much water. It holds its body weight in water. And
interesting.
The stem itself is literally just packed full of moisture. You can see that kind of, I've just snapped to that there, dripping full of moisture. And so what we found is that they're really high in antioxidants, really high in amino acids, really high in peptides. And this is the backbone of Bloomeffects. And we are the first ones to harness the botanical powers of Dutch tulips. And we have a proprietary Dutch tulip complex, and it's in everything that we do. So that's what makes us really special.
Well, and the fact that you brought us so many different things, because it comes from a lip tint, which I know is coming up with your package that's debuting tomorrow, another little set that you have, but also you've given us the nectar and the cleansing balm. So tell me a little bit about the products that you brought us here at QVC and how they stand differently because of the tulips than other products out on the market.
Well, the Royal Tulip Nectar is the ultimate quencher. It's a super hydrator, and it's not just a treatment moisturizer. It's, I guess, the only way to describe it is a nectar. This texture is just addictive. I'm going to just show you how beautiful this texture is. And it looks like almost a golden honey-like texture, but a tiny little bit goes a long, long way. And this tulip spatula comes with the Royal Tulip Nectar as well. So I just dose up the tulip spatula. A third is all you need. So that one petal of the 3 petals. And that does your whole face and your décolleté down your neck. And you just massage that into your fingers. And that activates the Royal Tulip Nectar, turning it from an ointment into a melting serum. And then once you've got it on your fingers, you just pat in. And now I've got makeup on, but I'm going to get a beautiful glow. And you can see that it's not heavy at all, but I get an instant glow. And it's super hydrating. So that is actually full of amino acids, antioxidant peptides. We have vitamin C for brightening. We have hyaluronic acid for fine lines and wrinkles, and it just is the ultimate quencher. It's like a drink for your skin, and it's the only thing that you need at night, and then you wake up with glowingly hydrated skin. But as you can see there, I've actually put it on top of my makeup, and it's given me a gorgeous glow. For me personally, I've suffered from really dry skin, and having a 4-month-old, going through that journey, your skin just gets so dry. And I needed something that wasn't steroid-based, it wasn't cortisone-based. I needed something all natural. And we're actually certified QVC clean as well. So that was super important. And my co-founder, Monica, was also pregnant during the process of developing these products. So both of us were very conscious about the ingredients that we had in our products, and very conscious about making sure that we were clean as well, because we wanted the best for us as a mom and our little babies as well. So any excess, I just put on my cuticles, on my elbows, on my knees, on my cracked heels. Anywhere I'm feeling dry or parched, this is where I use the excess, because a tiny little bit goes a long way. This nectar is really going to last you.
Well, that's great, too, that extends not just from the face, but we can use it on our body. I know we have a couple of people watching from Wichita, Kansas. I saw that Deanna's there, Kate. A lot of people are saying hi, Kim. Hi. So I hope that they're excited and are able to ask you some questions as well, especially when it comes to the skin. I mean, hydration, fine lines and wrinkles. You are the expert in the industry. Now, when you mentioned that you met your husband, you moved over to the Netherlands, you learned about tulips, you learned about the process and the moisture retention in them. Tell me then how you decided, okay, I'm actually going to step out on a limb and create my own line, my own skincare line. Tell me a little bit about that journey.
Well, it was 2 things. I've always been passionate about skincare because I suffered from eczema from a kid, being Asian descent, but born in a Western society. It's very common for second generation Asians to actually have what they call be atopic. And so that's hay fever, eczema, and asthma. And so as a kid, I was always allergic to things. And I thought that pharmaceutical products were the only things for me, because that's what my dermatologist told me. And I was always looking for something that was not only beautiful and gorgeous, it didn't talk to me like a patient, didn't make me feel like a patient, made me feel like a woman, and something luxurious, but worked and was efficacious and helped treat and heal my skin. And so I could stay away from the cortisons, and I could stay away from the steroids, and anything that, in my serious skincare regimen as well, like if I was using retinols or if I was using AHAs and BHAs, and we use so much stuff these days on our face, right? but we need that healing moisture. We need to protect our skin barrier and make sure we have healthy skin and have the building blocks for healthy skin. And that is like the backbone of Bloomeffects. It's all about moisture. It's all about protecting the skin and all about healing the skin. And the Royal Tulip Nectar is your ultimate protector. It not only seals in all that goodness, but it helps seal in the active ingredients of your other products as well. So if you have like a nighttime routine that you love, you can use this as your last step and it really seals in.
Oh, fantastic. So now that we talked a little bit about how you create it, you mentioned you're a co-founder as well. Being a co-founder, how did you and your co-founder meet? Was it something that you just knew you wanted to co-found a company? Or tell me a little bit about the characteristics that you look for in someone you want to partner with as far as an entrepreneur is concerned.
Monica and I fell into it naturally. We met actually at Saint-Tropez, which is another household brand at QVC, and love the Saint-Tropez team, and I love Sophie. So hi, Sophie, if you're watching. We met at work and we built, a beauty brand that is loved today at the Q and loved everywhere in the United States. And we knew that we could be good at this. Like, we had a proven track record, but we wanted to create something for ourselves that really spoke to us as new moms, really spoke to us in terms of our personal needs of our skin. And in terms of looking for the best qualities in a co-founder, well, Monica is the perfect co-founder. She's completely understanding. She puts up with me and we just get along so well. But I would say that we're complementary and we're not the same person. So we're not the same brain, and almost like a yin and yang approach works for us, that she's more even keeled and heavy, and I'm more of the kind of shoot at the hip, to be honest. And we balance each other out. She's more considered in her processes, and for me, I'm like big picture, but not so much in the detail. So we balance each other out, that we can think big, but also be creative and think about the detail as well. And I think that having that balance in that relationship is really super important. It balances out the business, and it also means for us, we make each other stronger. I learn from, my own strengths and weaknesses, and she learns from them as well, and we bounce off each other.
Well, and once again, that just speaks to any relationship, whether you're a co-founder, you're friends, husband and wife, everything like that. You have to be able to play with each other's strengths and weaknesses. And especially at this time, a lot of us are having to rely on other people to help support and build and come up with ideas. And so I think some of those points that you were saying, why she's a great co-founder, resonate with a lot of us. I know that when you brought Bloomeffects to QVC, we were very excited, but tell me how you felt about bringing it to QVC. What does it mean for you to be a QVC entrepreneur and to share it with our customer?
Oh my goodness, Courtney, I was so excited. I was actually 36 or 37 weeks pregnant and still got my butt there to the office to present, because that's how important QVC was to us. I think it was like a dream come true moment when I realized that the merchant team really understood where we were coming from, and it was halfway through the presentation, and you have to go through so much process, and it is so rigorous, the process. It's like a Shark Tank, opportunity almost. And you're pitching, and I was 36, 37 weeks pregnant, hormonal, not really thinking straight, but I knew that I had a story to tell, and that this product really worked. And it was such a simple message as well. Like, if they remembered one thing and one thing only, I wanted them to remember that Bloomeffects was the first brand to actually harness botanical powers of tulips. And the tulip is such a beautiful, simple flower that everyone loves and everyone knows, but no one has ever used it in beauty. And that just astounds me. And now everyone else as well. Like, everyone's saying, well, why hasn't anyone thought about this? And it's because they only bloom for 2 weeks in a year.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it's so difficult to actually harness their botanical powers, unless you actually have a husband that's a 4th generation tulip farmer and you have endless supply.
Yes.
So, we have an in terms of the tulip industry, which is really, lucky for us. And I'm so blessed to be, living here in the Netherlands and have access to the tulips. But that's the reason why no one's done this before, because it is fleeting science. It's just such a small window of opportunity where these flowers can be actually cut. And so, you know, the bulk of the production is actually just for us to have at home in our vases and in our gardens. And that's what tulips are known for now. And hopefully now that we're on the scene, that people are actually realizing that, hey, tulips are so supple and soft, and their petals are beautiful. The stems are full of moisture, and they've got amazing benefits for the skin.
Well, and I was just thinking, my mom is someone who, she doesn't really like to receive flowers, mainly because, you know, allergies, or she's like, oh, they might die. But if I can be like, Mom, here's some flowers that you can use on your skin, she might be more susceptible to that idea.
Exactly.
Well, so when you talked about skincare, tell me your first memory when you were younger about maybe when you started to realize, I really care about skin. I really like how my skin can look, and I like to learn about it. Do you have like a memory of when you were little that you figured, you know what, I look back and that might have led me to this industry?
I think it was even before I could speak, because having eczema as a kid, I felt tight and uncomfortable in my own skin from so early on. It was cracked and weepy, uncomfortable and itchy and sore, inflamed most of the time. I couldn't have the things that other kids were having. I couldn't eat dairy. Then I couldn't have, you know, this, that, and the other, because everything just seemed to flare up my skin. So I've had a battle with my skin for all my life. And yeah, I think that has really put me on a crusade to find something that was going to nourish and heal my skin in a clean way. And that really, and talk to me that like a woman, you know, I want to see some beautiful products on my vanity. I don't want to see a product that talks to me and makes me feel like a patient every day, even though I have a condition. And that's what we wanted to bring to people, you know, a beautiful product. And whether you're, you know, dry or normal, everyone has, you know, difficulties with their skin, depending on the season or, you know, their skin regimen, what they're using. And this royal tulip nectar really does treat and heal head to toe. You can even use it on your flyaways or your cuticles.
Oh, you just spoke my language. I have flyaways all the time. I feel like I need to definitely try it for that. Well, where did the name come from exactly, Bloomeffects? I mean, I can kind of see the idea, but tell me how you came about the name.
I can't take credit for the name, actually. I have to give that to my husband. We were thinking about a name, and I was thinking tulips. It's got to be something about tulips. But in fact, Heinz family grow a lot more than tulips. They're known for tulips because, you know, the Dutch are known for tulips, but they grow over, you know, 100 types of flowers, and they actually export, you know, thousands of different flowers. So Hein was like, well, what about something about bloom? Because bloom is the word for flower in Dutch. It actually means flower, and actually it's an English word. So it's a Dutch and an English word. So it's a nod to our heritage. And I was like, well, it has to be efficacious. And I kept on saying, it has to work. It has to work. And so effects just came naturally. So Bloomeffects was born. And yeah, I think I'll give that one to Hein.
Well, you know, sometimes when you get inspiration, it's got to come from different places. So if it comes from your husband, so be it. That's awesome. Well, so when you talked about just the nectar and the way you created Bloomeffects, when you look at tulips, I mean, you had to seriously see something far past just the petals and the beauty to then understand the science. When you put that together, how are you looking at other products? I mean, you have a lip tint, which I have right here. Actually, I'm wearing it. How did you think, okay, I want to make like makeup as well? It's very lovely. I love it.
Well, it is the perfect shade of petal pink, and we had to bring color to you. So I'm going to just show everyone at home. And it's completely universal. It's very flattering for all skin tones. And you can see Courtney and I are different skin tones, and it's suitable for both of us. And it's really blendable and wearable. And the blendability is key because it's actually skincare meets color. And we were so blown away by the colors of the tulip. So we had to bring color to you, but in a skincare way, because we're founded in skincare. So we have the proprietary Dutch tulip complex, which I mentioned is in all of our products, including color. And that's what makes this so blendable and wearable. And I've worked with celebrity makeup artists all around the world, and they've always told me that the brighter the shade, the better it is for mature skin. And as you know, I'm actually turning 37 in 2 days.
Oh,
so
happy birthday.
Thank you. And, you know, I don't want something sitting in my fine lines and wrinkles. I want that blendability, and I want that cushion and the glow as well. So this, you can see here, I'm actually putting on without a mirror, and
so
I can put it on
my lips and my cheeks. Oh, and probably on my eyelids as well as like a nice little tint.
Yeah, so you can get that monochromatic look.
I like that.
And it's great for Zoom calls as we're working from home. You know, you can have that kind of effortless glow, and be that beautiful kind of petal pink blush without looking, and see, it doesn't look dramatic at all. It's very natural, very wearable, very forgiving, even though it does look very bright out of the tube.
I will say it did. I was like, oh, this is kind of bright. And then as soon as I put it on, it just started blending, and then it was buildable. So then I put it on a little bit more and got a little bit more tint. So the fact that you can get one thing and use it in 3 places, that is like my most versatile. I mean, I know a lot of people watching might be thinking, I need versatile things, especially at this time. We're not trying to put on a lot of makeup. We're not trying to do ourselves up like maybe we normally did. We want those easy to go to kind of simple pieces that make us just enhance our beauty instead of
exactly
cover. Yeah.
And it's great value as well. You're not having 3 products, and from a sustainability point of view, you're using less for more. And we're a completely sustainable brand as well. You'll notice the texture of the tube. I'm not sure if you felt the tube, but it's kind of almost rough. Like, that's because it's a PCA tube, and that PCA means it's made out of sawdust. And we're the first ones in the United States actually have this technology. So you're using a completely sustainable, recycled and recyclable tube there. And we have beautiful, luxurious glass. It's nice and heavy and feels luxurious, but glass is so important because it can be recycled indefinitely. So we've always thought about the environment, which I like to say we've unlocked Mother Nature's best kept secret, but this gives back to Mother Nature at the same time as well, because our cartons are 100% recycled, and they're uncoated, and they're printed with soy ink. So every touch point of our brand, we've thought about Mother Nature.
Well, and I mean, just you saying that, and then having your husband be a 4th generation tulip farmer, I feel like you kind of have to. I mean, you're in a position where you are growing something from the ground, beautiful, beautiful tulips, and then you're taking that and creating something that we can use on our skin on a daily basis, not only our face, but our elbows and our heels and all of those dry places. And so to have the sustainable packaging just makes complete sense. But my question, though, for you real quick is, as far as your husband being a 4th generation in a farm as a farmer, and then you creating your company, are there, talk and overlap of like how you do business and how you guys influence each other as a couple running 2 different companies?
I think that we're both learning from each other and learning about each other's businesses. I'm not quite handy, and I haven't got a green thumb. And so through this process, I've learned how to plant bulbs. I've learned how to work in the fields. I'm really good at frolicking in the fields, but I haven't quite mastered driving a tractor yet. That's one thing on my list. I need to learn how to drive a regular car here, because being Australian, I drive on the other side of the road. So, so yeah, I've learned a lot of skills from Hein, and I think Hein has learned a lot of skills from our business, just the power of social media. And now with, the distancing and staying at home, he's learned about, Skyping and Facebook Lives, and it was actually featured on a bunch of Facebook Lives that we did on QVC during tulip season. And people were asking questions about how to plant tulips, and he was really the star of the whole thing. So he's really learned about the power of being connected globally as well, because our team, we've got people in Australia, we've got people in the States, I'm here in the Netherlands. So for us, we're Skyping all the time and talking to each other virtually. And so I think that for both of our businesses, I'm, in a startup with Bloomeffects, and he's in this century-old, over a century-old business. We can both learn from each other, and it's a really nice way to actually work with your partner almost, and but he doesn't get too involved. Monica and I run Bloomeffects. It's just nice to be able to share at the dinner table, kind of crossover between both our businesses, and have differences in our businesses as well.
For sure. Now, when you're talking business, tell me a little bit what you would advise someone who maybe wants to get out on their own. I mean, you went out and found something that was revolutionary. I mean, no one was doing it before, putting tulips and making it into this skincare line that's sustainable and clean beauty. What would you say to someone who's like, you know what, I have an idea and I have a desire. What would you tell them to do to take their first step forward or to encourage them?
I would say make a plan. And plans are always there to be changed, and you can pivot and pivot and pivot. But at least you have a foundation of a plan to start with, and don't accept no. You'll hear no, no, no. You'll hear no a lot. And there'll be people that say no and then turn around and all of a sudden say yes. And you just have to be sure in yourself and have that grit. Have the motivation, and just keep on waking up every morning and realizing that it's a new day and you'll conquer something new every day. And if you go to bed knowing that you've conquered something, whatever it is, it could be small, it could be big. For me, it could be either sleeping through the night so I could be more productive during the day. It could be anything. But as long as you take that one piece, go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning feeling refreshed and ready to conquer the next day, you'll continue to be single-minded about your business, and you'll continue to strive strive and then thrive. I think that grit is really super important for any entrepreneur, because there will be people that say no, there will be opportunities that don't come. It's not just luck, it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work, and it's endless and tiring, but we do it because we love it.
Well, right. And I love that you said plan, because you're a mom, you're also a wife. And then, of course, the fact you've got family probably all over the world. And being able to have a plan means that if you get distracted or somebody needs you, you know where to go back to after you kind of divert and detour. And I think that that's why a plan is really a fantastic answer, because I think a lot of us, when we're juggling so many things, a lot of people will say the word balancing. I personally don't know what that word means, because I'm always falling over on either side. But I mean, really, a plan is definitely, I think, a critical key to progression and hard work.
And be prepared to pivot on the plan as well. Yeah. I think that if you write a plan and you're too concrete about it, things change. The world has just changed over the last couple of months, and no one could have anticipated this. So you have to be prepared to pivot no matter what the universe throws at you. And so that plan needs to be nimble and flexible, but it does need to have a foundation, and that gives you some grounding.
Well, I think that's great advice. I just have to, if anyone's just tuning in right now, I just want you to know we have Kim here from Bloomeffects. She's the co-founder. If you have any questions for her, even skincare related, tulip related, how she came up with the line, please ask us here right now in the comments. And then also, Kim, tell us just a little bit again about the history. One, the tulips that you actually are using, and the history and the prestige that comes with them. And then also these amazing products that you brought us to QVC, and you're going to be on air tomorrow at 2. So tell us from the beginning.
I'm so excited. Yes, of course. Well, tulips actually have such an amazing history. I never knew this. I wasn't a history major. I was a marketing major at university, but they go back to the 16th century. And at the time, there was the first economic crisis that happened. It was the first bubble. And I think on Wolf of Wall Street and, the Wall Street movie, they actually referenced tulip mania as the first crisis, because at the time in the 16th century, in the golden era, you could actually buy a whole house for just one tulip bulb. It's not the case anymore. But it was so prized, and the Dutch really thrived in the 16th century and have always since then been known for tulips. And the Dutch are known as like the flower shop of the world. They actually export most of the tulips. 90% of the tulip production comes from the Netherlands, and so this simple tulip has just been loved since the 16th century. And in fact, our other home in New York, where our office is, used to be called New Amsterdam. And so we have like a really nice historic connection between New York, where our office is, and the Netherlands, where I live, and the history of tulips. And also just being kind of really grounded in kind of family values, because we're a new brand. We're only 6 months young, and we're the first ones to harness the botanical powers of tulips. But we have this amazing heritage and history. Even the color of our packaging is this blue color, and it's inspired by Delft blue, which is actually a Dutch kind of royal chinaware. And this is that special blue color. And you'll see on the cartons, there's like a mural of tulips, and that is inspired by the beautiful Rembrandt pictures that you see at the Rijksmuseum. So every element of our packaging, every single image that you see has been taken from the history and the heritage of the Dutch, which I've been able to be married into, because Heinz family are just wonderful, and being part of a 4th generation business is just incredible. That rich history has been able to have a halo effect on Bloomeffects.
Oh, that's so incredible. And then you brought us some amazing products. Tell me the breadth of the line, because you have a couple on qvc.com right now that we can easily shop, but tell me some of those products that we can learn about real quick.
Sure. We have 4 heroes because we're just 6 months young. We only have 4 products. So it's really a succinct range. We have the Royal Tulip Nectar, which is our best seller. It's already top rated, actually 5 stars on qvc.com. So I'm so excited about that. And the Royal Tulip Nectar is award winning as well. It won a sustainability award from Refinery 29. This is your ultimate hydrator. This is an ultimate multitasker, and you can use it at night to do its best magic. Then we have the Tulip Tint, which is color meets skincare. You can use it on your cheeks, on your lips. You can use it on the go, throw one in your handbag. You don't even need a mirror. It's so blendable, so easy to wear. It's, again, has our proprietary tulip complex in that, and it is super moisturizing. And we have a cleansing jelly, which you can use as a double cleanser because it has hyaluronic acid and our proprietary Dutch tulip complex. So it's super nourishing and hydrating for the skin, as well as melting the makeup away. And you can double cleanse with it because it is so gentle. And then we have our Dutch dirt mask, which sounds interesting, but it's essentially a mud mask, but it's made from literally Dutch dirt, and it's so nourishing. The natural minerals in the soil here, the reason why the tulips are so vibrant and so bright and so colorful and so beautiful is because the soil is so rich here. In fact, Amsterdam was literally a dam, and then they turned it into canals. So all of that lake sediment, all of that dam sediment is actually in the soil, and that's what makes the soil so rich. And we've put all of that goodness into our Dutch dirt mask so that you can get clarified, detoxified, glowing skin.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I can't wait to try it. I do have the dirt mask. It's on my list of things to try.
Oh, amazing.
It also love a good
works
mask.
as a scrub. So use it as a scrub first if you don't have time. And I just throw it on in the shower and scrub my T-zone.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little lazy with my skincare regime, being a busy mom. And it works great as a scrub as well.
Oh, perfect. Well, we can obviously shop Bloomeffects on qvc.com. Tell us where we can follow you on social and follow the journey.
Bloomeffects on Instagram, on Facebook, and we've actually just started TikTok, and I'm obsessed with TikTok. I'm really busy and I have a short attention span, so the 15-second videos are great, and I love all the dances as well. So if you're into TikTok, follow us on TikTok.
That's fantastic. Well, any other words that you would like to share before we leave? I know you're going to be on with Sandra tomorrow on QVC at 2 p.m., but any other inspiration or thoughts you'd like to share with us before we sign off?
I just wanted to share one fact, and this is a question that I get a lot. Do tulips have a scent, and are our products fragranced? And they're actually fragrance-free because both Monica and I were pregnant throughout the process of developing these products. We were very sensitive to smell at the time, and also my sensitive skin, having eczema all my life. Fragrance was a no-go. Even essential oils, even if they're natural fragrances, they can irritate. So we have no fragrance in our product. And in fact, most tulips don't have a scent at all. There's over 3,000 varieties of tulips, and only a dozen have scent. So yeah, you probably can't even think of how a tulip smells if you think about it. And that's because they don't have scent. So we're fragrance free and very proud to be fragrance free. So you're enjoying the botanical powers of tulips for the skincare benefits, but you can be sure that it's fragrance free.
Oh, fantastic. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow on QVC.
Thank you, Courtney. Thanks for the opportunity.
Have a good one.